All right, everybody, welcome to episode number 42, the fucking universal answer to everything, according to Douglas Adams, your Checker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you didn't get that reference, then fuck you. I am, of course, your giant blue stabby-faced host from another planet, the murderous, non-caring motherfucker, Thundercracker. With me, as always, is the Southern Belle, the Spock to my Kirk, the Janeway to my Cisco.
What?
I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, the panty dropping baritone Dreadwind.
Look, if you're gonna do a Deep Space Nine reference, at least call me like Worf or something.
No. See, I was going across genres. I was going Voyager and DS9. So Janeway. Yeah, Janeway.
Okay. I didn't watch the Janeway one, so that one went over me. Okay.
Yeah. You're the Uhura to my 7 of 9. All right, enough of that garbage. Anyway, hey, let's delve right into the show. And as always, we will start off with heavy metal news. And my piece of news, of course, I'm going to go with a big piece of news. It's not even necessarily heavy metal news. It is the suicide of Linkin Park frontman Chester Bennington. And here's this guy. I just want to say a couple of things about this guy's death. First of all, it's tragic. It's never a good thing when somebody dies. You know, if fucking Kim Kardashian committed suicide, it would be a tragedy. You know, I'm just not a fan of like people killing themselves or killing other people or hurting other people because, well, I have some morals and I have empathy. So I mean, I'm just not that antisocial, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I fucking hate people in general. I don't want them to die or anything, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't like fucking Linkin Park music. I never have. Everybody's like, oh, he's the voice of a generation. No, he's not. He's not the fucking voice of a generation, right? Maybe like the shitty little fucking people that only listen to the radio. Maybe those people. And if you think he is the voice of the generation, that's fine. He can be your voice. He certainly isn't my fucking voice. And I'm sick of seeing these articles that are like, oh, admit it, you like Linkin Park too. No. I fucking did not like Linkin Park. I don't like fucking Hybrid Theory or Meteorite or whatever the fuck the other one was called, or the Blue Buttfucker or whatever the other one was called. Fuck those albums, right? And that song that they do goes, I'm so fucking sick of that song. I can't even stand it. Right? The local rock station here is called The Blitz. They basically, when Linkin Park first came out, they put Linkin Park on repeat and left them on repeat for about a decade.
Yeah, they still get radio airplay like crazy around here, and we've talked about this before. How like where you are, Nickelback's on the radio constantly. I haven't heard Nickelback on the radio in forever, thank goodness. But Linkin Park is still like every 20 minutes. It's a freaking Linkin Park song.
Yeah. That Numb song, I guarantee you, at least 4 times a day the local radio station plays that. And I bet you, this isn't even exaggerating. I would bet you that they play at least 10 Linkin Park songs a day, and probably 10 Nickelback songs a day. But anyway, my point. Yeah. My point. Oh, definitely. My point is that while it is a tragedy that the guy committed suicide, and I wish he would have found the help that he needed, you know, and he certainly had the means to find the help. He just may not have had the willpower to find the help. You know, maybe he just didn't want to go and look for help. But he certainly had the means. He had the support system behind him, obviously. But, you know, it's a mental disease, and, you know, the guy had some issues, right? And it's fucking tragic. But that being said, that doesn't make everybody a fucking fan, right? And I'm not going to say that I'm a fan of something when I'm not, right? And it's the exact opposite that happened when Lemmy died. All these fucks that weren't ever Motorhead fans, who never heard of Motorhead, were all of a sudden these big Motorhead fans when Lemmy died. No, and fuck you. Okay, so that's all I got to say about that.
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, it's possible to separate your personal music taste from your personal feelings towards another human being.
Right.
Just because you don't like the person's music doesn't mean you can't respect the person and his life. And you know,
right.
And yeah, it's a tragedy when that happens. Always. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I can't stand
even like
any kind of news like that.
Like that Amy Winehouse chick. I mean, that was sad that she died, substance abuse. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, her fucking music was awful, but fuck. At least I think she was a musician or claimed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my heavy metal news. And it's not really heavy metal news. Dreadwind.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that, but I'm pretty much with you. I don't want to beat a dead horse or anything as far as that goes.
That was a poor choice of words.
Yeah, it was. As soon as it came out my mouth, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh shit!
I said that. Here we go. How about Slayer about to perform
Jimmy Fallon show or something?
The Jimmy Fallon night show. Yeah,
Jimmy Fallon. Okay, yeah. Somebody. Yeah. Of course, shockingly, about 30 people sent me a link to that.
Yeah, July 27th edition. So I guess you might want to tune in for that, or at least catch it on YouTube. I'm sure it'll be all over YouTube.
Mm-hmm. That should be good.
Yeah. And then Superjoint Ritual and Devil Driver announced a U.S. tour together.
I've seen Superjoint Ritual. They are pretty good.
I've seen them. I'm not really a huge fan of that particular project.
Oh yeah,
but I know a lot of people are.
All right, that's fair enough. You can be wrong all you want. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, it wasn't just me because the whole Ozfest crowd was ready for them to get off the stage.
All right, let's move on into our reviews of some songs. And this weekend I picked all the songs, and my theme was, because I had a theme just like a fucking prom. My theme was the weather. That was my theme.
Ah,
yeah.
I kind of got that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's a lot of tornado and wind and stuff.
Yeah. So my first song that I chose was by Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath formed in Aston, United Kingdom in 1968, and the song is called Snowblind. This is from their Volume 4, released on September 25th, 1972. And my notes are as follows. As soon as the first 4 notes of the song are played, any Sabhead worth their black t-shirt knows immediately what is coming. I mean, if you don't know Snowblind from those first 4 notes, remember that Name That Tune game show?
Yeah,
if they did the first 4 notes and you couldn't get fucking Snowblind from that, just fucking turn in your black shirts and fucking get a cheese grater and scrape off your tattoos because you fucking suck. Ozzy's iconic voice rings out clear as a bell over top of the bouncy guitar. That's what I love about Snowblind. It goes, it's just like, it's just like a bounce type thing to it.
Mm-hmm.
That I love. It's kind of like a swing guitar. The chorus is super eerie when he's talking about, snowflakes glistening on the trees. I love that part. And here's the thing about the drumming in the song. It's fucking amazing all the way throughout the song. It's very innovative because it's not like your typical heavy metal drumming where, sounds like somebody put a playing card into fucking some bicycle spokes.
Bill Ward had a lot of jazz influence in his
definitely
drumming.
A lot of jazz influence. Yeah, he's a lot of swing drumming in there.
Yep.
And then the solo that Iommi does has this really, really sad feel to it. It's not like a crisp, clear solo puts you out in the stratosphere. It's kind of has this melancholy feel to it. Mm-hmm. And Snowblind was also the working title of Volume 4. But the record company did not want to release it like that because obviously it's a drug reference.
Right.
And then at 3:30 they do a change up, which is fucking brilliant, especially with regard to the drumming. And just one last note I have about this song is that System of a Down, Black Label Society, Sleep, and Converge have all covered Snowblind, although Black Label Society is not a big surprise, as he's covered about 90 Black Sabbath songs.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big Black Sabbath fan. And also, the closing features another really good solo. Snowblind by Black Sabbath. Admittedly, I'm a giant Sabhead, and every time I hear Black Sabbath, my nipples poke right through my shirt. So I give Black Sabbath Snowblind a 9.0 Dreadwind.
Yeah, Zach obviously is a huge fan. He's got his own Black Sabbath cover band called Zach Sabbath.
Yeah,
and they just do Black Sabbath songs. So yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Snowblind. It has a mellow groove, and Ozzy croons out the melody over a rich interwoven musical landscape. How's that?
Cool. That sounds pretty professional right there.
Yeah. The guitars has much more of a bouncy feel to it, and Iommi makes his guitar sing during the musical interludes, and then there's a sudden rhythm change that just kind of blindsides you.
Snow blindsides you?
Snow blindsides you, which is kind of pretty par for the course for Sabbath. That's one of their signature trademarks, is to come out with that rhythm change out of nowhere. But then it smooths right back in, transitions right back in nice and smoothly to the main riff, where you don't see the change coming, but then when the change comes and it transitions back into the riff, you know, you look back at it and you're like,
that totally made sense.
That totally worked.
Yep. Every time.
They just, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Yeah, just typical Sabbath fashion. Great song. I give it a 9.0 also.
All right, Symbiotic right there. Yeah. Boom! All right, moving on to our next band. It is a band called Megadeth, and they're from Los Angeles, California, 1983. This is off of their Rust in Peace album from 1990. It's called Tornado Souls, and if Rust in Peace is probably one of the most brilliant albums ever to be released ever. It's just an amazing album. All right. First of all, my first note is, how can you listen to that fucking insane opening riff and not want to leap out of your chair and hit someone? I mean, it's just fucking awesome. Yeah. It almost sounds like a tornado gathering up speed and then like moving on to go fuck up Kansas, right? And not like the band, not the band Kansas, but like the state of Kansas. Yeah, the trailer parks in Kansas. They have
it would do that to the band also.
They would. They'd be like, carry on my, what the fuck? All right. I honestly think this song should be in the tornado scene of The Wizard of Oz. Just like have the witch go around on a little bicycle with the internet. Yeah, it'd be fucking great. This song is proof that gingers do indeed have souls. Yeah, I'm just saying that because David was saying this. All right. The singing and the lyrics are fucking amazing. The solo of Tornado Souls.
Maybe it's his theme song when he's stealing souls.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Tornado Soul. All right, so the solo in the song is unbelievably brilliant. In fact, it is so brilliant, when asked for a quote, Han Solo was said to have said that, holy shit, that solo is brilliant. And I'm glad that I named Solo after the solo in Tornado Souls. Even though he came out beforehand, he was still named after it. Anyway, the title, Rust in Peace, was inspired by a bumper sticker that Mustaine saw on the back of a vehicle while driving home from Lake Elsinore, California. The sticker read, "May all your nuclear weapons rust in peace." Mustaine liked the concept and decided to use it as a title for his upcoming album. I'm fucking glad he did, because it's goddamn brilliant. I give it a 10. Dreadwood.
Yeah. What can you say about this? This is a brilliant, brilliant album. Tornado Souls. All right, here's what I wrote. It's a blistering barrage of riffs that open this song. Just one of many on a masterpiece of an album. Dave's voice cuts through like a serrated knife.
Yep.
The drumming stands out just as much as the guitars do.
Nick,
rest in peace.
Yep.
Marty's solo introduces itself gracefully before ripping a hole in the space-time continuum.
I like it.
All right. In the Book of Thrash, this album is the last chapter, the final thesis statement. It is quite simply thrash perfected. I give it a 10 also.
Awesome. Symbiotic. Yeah, I think we've never been symbiotic twice in a row.
I was thinking on this album, I was like, I don't think there's a song on here I could rate lower than 10.
There isn't. They're all fucking awesome. All right. Next band is another like pretty obscure band, Metallica. Metallica from Los Angeles, California, formed in 1981. This is the title track off of their July 27th, 1984 release, Ride the Lightning. When I hear that opening drum and guitar, I instantly think of an electric chair surrounded by lightning. I can't help it. Like immediately I think of that album cover. Basically, the song is about being put to death in an electric chair and the inmate's final thoughts about that, which are pretty much like, hey, I don't want to be put to death in an electric chair. And who made you a god to say when I live or die, right?
It's also it's a nightmare because he wakes up at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's like this drum roll right before the slowdown where it goes do 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 wah chaka cha chaka cha da. I fucking love that part. And I did it pretty perfectly, you got to admit. You're like right there. You're right there in the studio with Lars and.
I've got goosebumps.
I was saying, the solo is sharp and shining, but it has a guttural rhythm behind it that makes sure that it does not fly off the track and slice open your face. An incident occurred when Metallica's gear was stolen in Boston, and Anthrax lent Metallica its equipment to complete the remaining dates. When not gigging, the band stayed in a rented house in El Cerrito, California, called the Metallica Mansion. And this is the most interesting part out of any of these tidbits I've ever had. Frontman James Hetfield, and I knew this already, but frontman James Hetfield felt uneasy about performing double duty on vocals and rhythm guitar and offered the job to Armored Saint singer John Bush, also of Anthrax fame, who turned down the offer because Armored Saint was doing well at the time. Boy, did he miss the fucking ticket there. Yeah, and wow, would Metallica have been different if John Bush had been the singer, post Lightning. Yeah. My only ding on the song is that it's a touch too long, and the outro takes a little bit too long, in my opinion. So I give it a 9.5. Dreadful.
Yeah, this is a monster song from a monster album. The unmistakable guitars kick open a metal masterpiece. You have a young James Hetfield screaming into the microphone, feeding the feeling of desperation that the lyrics portray. Kirk demonstrates his melodic playing before speeding up into a ripping solo. Playing like this makes you understand how and why he was once considered among the top guitar players in metal among his peers, which he was, believe it or not, at one point.
You nothing but shit on him now, but okay.
I know. I know, but hey, I got to give credit when credit's due. And his playing on Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets and Justice for All is amazing.
So I'm not going to get any argument from me.
I'm not going to sit here and bash the guy for playing good, because the dude can play good on those albums.
I will. Fuck that guy for playing good.
Right. This was my first Metallica album that I bought. After I heard Master of Puppets, I ran out and bought this like the same week. Had to have it. I love this song. I love this album. I give it a 9.5 also.
Holy shit, 3 in a row?
I don't know what else to say. I know. This scary, man.
The symbiosis is getting crazy. All right.
Ooh.
Our next song is a cover song. And I didn't even know it was a cover song when I first heard it. I thought, holy fuck, this song is badass. Then I found out who originally did it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
All right. The band is Entombed, and they were formed in Stockholm, Sweden in 1987. And this is the song God of Thunder off of their self-titled album 1993, or alternately Wolverine Blues 1994. It's on both of them. Obviously, this is a Kiss cover, which is counterintuitive because Kiss fucking sucks, and this is an awesome song. And I say that like in my wife's colossal Kiss fan, so I'm not a fan of them at all. But anyway, I think this is one of the instances when the cover is better than the original.
Have you ever heard the original?
I have heard the original. I'm not.
Okay. All right.
The slavish drum beat and that weird sound at the beginning, that they got going. I don't know what the fuck. Like, did they use a theremin or something for that? I have no idea.
Oh.
You know what theremin is, though, right?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay, just checking, man.
Star Trek.
You know what a flanger is, right?
Yes, I know what a flanger is. Thank you.
All right. The slavish drum beat.
Flange a theremin.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. The slavish drum beat and the weird sound at the beginning are awesome, and then you can hear the sound of a shotgun being cocked at one point. It's very like faint, but you can definitely, like, right before they go into like 1,000 miles per hour, you hear a shotgun being cocked. And actually, Entombed's had a couple of gun sounds on their songs, and they've been, ripped about that before. But Lars Petrov, who's the singer on this, has the ideal vocals for death metal. Along with Dismember, Grave, and Unleashed, Entombed has been referred to as one of the big four of Swedish death metal, and that's saying something right there. Although I would maybe kind of put Amon Amarth in there instead of Unleashed, but that's just me, I guess. The song is just fantastic overall. The drum setup is great. the relentless grinding of the guitar. My only real complaint is the solo seems like an afterthought in the background, and the outro is a bit on the shitty side because it's just like just the guy going,
yeah.
That kind of sucked. But other than that, this is a really good song. I give it an 8.0, Joe.
God damn, I knew we couldn't do it.
Oh shit, we've done diverged, huh?
Yeah. I've actually listened to Kiss prior in my youth, and they were, I don't know, I guess, okay, I don't consider Kiss a heavy metal band by any means. They're much.
You were a kid in Satan's service?
I guess so. I always, of the Kiss songs, I always preferred usually the ones that Gene Simmons would sing, because those tended to be the heavier
this is one
songs.
of them. Yeah.
And this was always my favorite. I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but there's a handful of songs that I like. This being one of them. This being yeah, this one being my favorite of the Kiss songs. And I've heard several bands cover this one, including Iced Earth did a pretty good cover of this one as well. The guitars on this particular version sound a little more fuzzy than distorted. I'm not sure what they're using, but I'm sure it's got something to do with flanger.
I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say it, but okay.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it, so I just preempted you there. But yeah, they don't have like a typical distortion sound. It's more of a fuzz box sound. I'm not sure. I guess that's what they were going for. I don't know.
It was.
Here we go. Yeah, the singer sounds like he just jumped up on stage for karaoke night.
Oh man.
I don't know what it is. It wasn't his voice. It was the way he sang it. It just, I don't know. It's like he heard the song once and then just decided to jump up on stage and do a karaoke version.
Hey man, the guy's singing in English and he's not his original language either.
Okay. Are all of his other songs in English?
Yes, a lot of them are. Yeah.
Okay then. I rest my case. The drummer goes on like a really mad drum roll frenzy at some point before the guitar solo. I don't know if like he sat on a squirrel or something, but he just
God damn
tore up the drums there. It's like, chill, dude. Okay. Yeah, the solo's a bit the solo's a bit subdued, I guess you could say, but it's kind of like that in the original too. So I guess they were just trying to keep it along the same lines or whatever. In the original, they have like some kids talking over it, like it's kind of like the kids are put on the music and the music kind of takes life of its own and they can't turn off the stereo and stuff like that. It's kind of weird, bit annoying. That's the one thing I don't like about the song is the stupid kids in it. But as a result, the solo is kind of subdued in the original too, and I think that's what they were kind of going for here. The vocals do get better for the chorus, but then there's a 40-second outro that just drags on needlessly and noisily. So I gave it a 7.0.
Oh damn! Well, that's not too bad, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to brighter and bloodier pastures. We have Slayer. Slayer from Huntington Park, California. And yes, I did just recently go and watch Slayer because I cannot have Slayer in the same city as me and not go and see them. Because I was going to get the VIP package, but I didn't want to drop $400 because the $250 ones were all sold out.
Those are getting ridiculous now.
Yeah,
man. I mean, it was cool when they first came out and started doing the VIP packages, and it's like, an extra $50-$60, you get to meet the band, get a picture with them. That was really cool. And now they're just going ridiculous with it.
Machine Head was $75, and that was like 2 years ago, so that's not that bad. And that's your ticket too. But they had $250 ones, but those had all sold out. So you had like the super extreme package, which wasn't even all that much different. But $400 fucking, no, thank you. So I went down and sweated it down in the fucking pit. Anyway, Slayer, Huntington Park, California, 1981. This is off their Rain in Blood 1986 album. And I don't know why they did that, but they named the song like really close to the name of the album. And like that has sparked a fuck ton of arguments over the years. because the album is Rain in Blood and the song is Raining Blood. All right. The opening sounds like you're stuck in Freddy Krueger's boiler room and he's about to slice you up with his fucking hand claw thing. And it gets me every goddamn time because it's like that, and then it's like, sounds like he's scraping on the pipes there. Fucking awesome. Then the fucking most amazing clear riff ever in the history of riffs comes in, followed by arguably the most headbang-friendly riffing of all time. That that's fucking awesome. There's no debate. We'll not hear any debate of that. Araya's vocals are spot on, and the drumming is goddamn impeccable. The breakdown is amazing, and the transition back into the lyrics is also fucking badass as fuck. I wrote that exact phrasing. The solo seems to have been written by Satan himself, or at least one of the CEOs of one of Satan's shell companies. Hanneman explained that it's about a guy who's in purgatory because he was cast out of heaven. He's waiting for revenge and wants to fuck that place up. That's a direct quote.
Nice.
Kerry King later said the rest of the song explains what happens when he starts fucking people up. The lyrics "Return the power draws near" is because he's willing to get strong enough to overthrow heaven, and then fall into me. The sky's crimson tears is everybody's blood flowing into him, which that's pretty gory right there. So basically, raining blood is all the angels' blood falling down on him. The song has been covered by Malevolent Creation, Havoc, Natalie Prass, Body Count, Vader, Diecast, Quiet Company, Reggae and the Full Effect, and even fucking Tori Amos covered this song.
I saw that.
Yeah, my only one real ding of the song, which is a goddamn brilliant, amazing song, is that the storm at the end goes on for a little bit too long. Although in some versions of it, they don't even have that on there. But it's Slayer Raining Blood. I give it a 10 plus.
I knew you would. What else am I going to say after that? Okay, Raining Blood. I wonder. I was wondering if they wrote the song Raining Blood, and then when they went to put the album out, they told like the executives or whatever.
Somebody misheard them.
It's called Raining Blood, and somebody misheard them and just put Rain in Blood.
That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I've heard stranger things.
Oh,
like the Nib story.
Yeah, NIB. All right, this one has a stormy, eerie intro before the dual guitars split the cold night, bashing through the gates like a hoarding army.
I'm a little bit wet after hearing that. Go ahead.
And then it gets fast, really fast. Tom screams "Raining Blood" as the guitars scream back, and then it just blasts you in the face constantly until it stops, and it like stops suddenly, which was a bit jarring for me, but I'm with you. The raining at the end was a little bit too long, but I guess, like you said, it's not even in some versions. The guitars there's some really, really awesome riffs in this song.
Yes,
and
sir.
The drumming is phenomenal. I didn't write anything specifically about it, but God, the drumming is absolutely phenomenal on this. Not a big Slayer fan, but it's still a great song. I give it a 9.0.
All right, well, that's wrong. I'm take that as a 10. Let's move on. Let's move on to Living Death, formed in Velbert, Germany, 1980. And this
Living Death or Living Dead?
It's Living Death. They had it mis.
Oh, okay.
In the thing, it's Living Death. The album has got a great name, Vengeance of Hell, 1984. That's like definitely like something like Judas Priest would have in his album cover. Yeah. Anyway, the song is called Heavy Metal Hurricane, which for some reason I couldn't get Rock You Like a Hurricane out of my head when I read that. But anyway, I don't have that many notes on this, but classic thrash opening. The singer reminds me a lot of early Hetfield, like back in the No Life Till Leather / Kill 'Em All days. The lyrics are about heavy metal and metalheads, and in fact, the entire lyrics are pretty cliche about that. Yeah. And they do this like little dueling solos thing, which I thought was pretty good. But at one point, he does like this orgasm sound, and I could have done without that. He just like oh, like what the fuck was that? Just like out of nowhere, he does that. The vocals, the drums, and the bass all definitely take a backseat to the guitars. And the effects on the guitar at one point during an interlude reminds me almost of Van Halen. And they also are pretty big fans of pick slides. Yeah. They did about 1,000 of them during the song. But anyway, I give it a 7.5. It's a pretty good basic thrash song.
Yeah. Here's what I have. Old school metal. A thin drum sound behind blistering guitars. And like you said, the guitars really take the floor. I mean, everything takes a backseat to guitars. Vocals, drums, you name it. The vocals themselves are actually hard to hear. What lyrics I can make out just sounded like the very typical 80s heavy metal banging your head thrash anthem, which you said, very, very cliche. The first solo is over almost as soon as it starts. Like, it was so short, if you blink, you miss it.
That's what she said.
At 2.5 minutes, a promising change-up leads to another solo, which was slightly longer than the first. The whole song kind of reminds me of a demo track off of "Killing Is My Business" that just didn't make the final cut.
Definitely, right up there with you. That's the whole thing I was trying to get across the No Life to Love It thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. I gave it a 6.5. I don't know. It was, I was all right, I guess.
All right, fine. I guess it didn't do for. All right, our next band is Voivod. Voivod, who has had plenty of members, and even Jason Newsted was in Voivod for a while. This from Jonquière, Quebec, Canada, 1982. This song was called Tornado off their album Killing Technology, 1987. My very first note is that a bass guitar? It almost sounds like they have a bass guitar in this band.
Yeah.
So the opening almost reminded me of a horror. Let me start that one more time. The opening almost reminded me. I got horrors on the brain. The opening almost reminded me of a horror movie with ascending riffing. The song has definite punk overtones to it, especially with the simplicity of the drum beat. I love the fact that the chorus just consists of someone screaming the title over and over again. Towards the end of the song, I was pining for the song to be over, which is never a good sign.
Yeah.
Killing Technology is the third studio album by the Canadian heavy metal band Voivod. It was released in 1987 on Noise Records and was the first to combine elements of progressive rock in the band's thrash metal sound. Although I don't know if I heard too much thrash in that. According to interviews contemporary to the release of Killing Technology by 1986, Voivod were more influenced by hardcore punk and crossover bands than other metal bands, and that definitely shines through. And they really only were listening to Creator and Motorhead at that point, as far as metal goes. But anyway, Voivod Tornado, I give a 6.0, and we are definitely not having luck ever with Canada.
No.
They're Canadian bands, because I think this is the third one, and I think all three of them suck.
Yeah.
Dreadwind. Voivod Tornado.
Voivod. This is a band I've never really got into. The song starts out like the soundtrack to an animated movie where the hero is trying to run away from a swarm of things.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's like the horror movie thing I was trying to get at. Yeah.
I kind of it invoked. Do you remember that bit in the heavy metal movie? Heavy Metal.
Yeah. What bit are you talking about?
Who is it? The big dude, the little dude that turns into the big dude, and he's just smashing all kinds of stuff. And
I know you're talking about the guy who's
hand over fist.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, hand over fist. Yeah,
yep.
That came to mind when I was listening to the intro. Just running through, tearing stuff up. The lyrics actually seem to fit this concept as the singer growls over semi-thrash style rhythm. But the chorus definitely invokes more of a punk sound as they all just yell in unison the chorus, the name of the song. Very much a punk vibe there. At 3 minutes, a clever change-up kicks in just in time when you're talking about ready for the song to be over. I was ready for something at that point. And then there was a change-up that came in just in time that prevented me from skipping to the next song. But then another change-up breaks up the groove. Right after that, with a full 2 minutes left in the song, it's starting to the song itself is just sounding very sporadic. It was like they didn't have I don't know, they just kept jumping around.
They didn't have a plan.
Yeah, like let's throw this riff and this riff together, and well, they don't go together. Who cares?
They could have used Hannibal's help there.
Yeah, definitely. I wrote, I'm ready for the song to end. It won't
look at
stop.
That. Pretty symbiotic there.
6.0 also.
Damn, all right. So we fucking shit all over Voivod's Tornado.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next band, Satyricon, Walker Upon the Wind. Satyricon formed in Oslo, Norway in 1991. And let's be honest, Oslo is the only Norwegian city anybody knows because it's always in crossword puzzles.
It's probably the only one they can pronounce.
Right. Yeah, you're right. What is this guy? It's got 17 consonants in a row. What the fuck? How do you pronounce that? All right. Anyway, this is from their self-titled album from 2013. The entire comment section was filled with people bitching about the band's change to their sound and how they've fallen off from what they were originally. I've always loved Satyricon's guitar tones because they always have like these really bright guitar tones, and then like you get the raspy singer and then the super fast drums. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a good combination for me. And like as far as black metal goes, Satyricon for me is like up there as far as the good ones go. Because I'm not even all that big a fan of black metal, but I'd put Satyricon as something I can at least listen to. Like Satyricon and Marduk maybe be about my two biggest ones. But anyway, the breakdown at 250 reminded me a lot of Morbid Angel. Overall, the song is fairly lackluster. Satyricon is the 8th studio album by Norwegian black metal band Satyricon, and they actually topped the Norwegian albums chart, which is insane that a black metal band is at the top of an albums chart. But then again, it is also Norway.
It is Norway, yeah.
Yeah, so I give it a 7.0 Dribblin.
Okay, sorry, I'm having issues over here. Yeah, it's got kind of a doom opening that breaks into a very speedy rhythm. I did that on purpose because the vocals repeat.
I'm glad because I thought you were having an aneurysm there for a second.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit unnecessary.
Oh.
With the repeating vocals.
Okay.
He does this echo thing at the end of his vocal thing. I was just like, yeah, don't do that.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
So, yeah, that kind of bothered me a little bit. I don't know. About 2.5 minutes of the song kicks into full doom mode.
Yeah.
I mean, it just like drops like a 10-ton weight, and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? Heavy, evil, and foreboding, and then it jumps back into the double bass speed rhythm that was
probably the part that I said reminded me a lot of Morbid Angel. Yeah,
probably so. Very slow and heavy and all. Really cool song. I'm not a huge black metal fan either, but this one wasn't too bad. I kind of enjoyed it. I guess a 7.5 for me.
Oh damn! Fucking outscored me. Yeah. God. So, all right, our next song is called.
It was that slow part, the doom part, that really got me.
Totally for me too. Our next song is called Heavy Metal Thunder. I can't read that name without doing it in the fucking voice from that song. Yeah, the Steppenwolf song. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, it's from Saxon, and talking about old school metal, Saxon is it for old school metal. The band was formed in Barnsley, United Kingdom in 1976. And these are like some of the grandfathers of heavy metal here, Saxon. This is the title track, their 2002 Best of album. And I think it like has something to do with like movie theme songs or something. I don't know. The album cover is a pretty clear reference to the German Eagle, which that upset some people in the comment section, shockingly enough.
Yeah.
In fact, I recently took a picture of my my garage with me in it, and then like I realized that I had a Pantera tapestry hanging there that probably some people would have a problem with, so I went ahead and just blacked it out because I don't even have the energy to argue anymore about it. The second guitar that comes in almost sounds like it is laughing. It's like the vocals and lyrics make me laugh because they sound like a garage band trying to do Dio. The chorus sounds like it could have been taken out of a pop song because it's like, hold your hands out, hold your hands high, shake your body. Like, what the fuck is that? But then the solo comes in and they redeem themselves a little bit because the solo wasn't bad, honestly. And I also have to take into account this is Saxon. This isn't Slayer here, so
right.
They're totally different style of metal. So anyway, I gave it a 7.0. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't awful either. Directly.
I had to listen to this one twice to actually get a solid review and number on it. definitely part of the new wave of British heavy metal, early metal, much more actually hard rock than metal. But
yep.
Yeah, Saxon conjures a sound reminiscent of very early Judas Priest and Iron Maiden.
Yep, definitely.
Powerful vocals drive a straight-up classic hard rock style song.
Just like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden.
Yeah, which of course was heavy for its time back then. This, we're talking late 70s here. This was before Metallica and Megadeth and all them. They are a pretty underrated band. Saxon helped to pave the way and influenced many of the early heavy metal bands that would come out in the early to mid 80s,
including Metallica and Megadeth.
Including Metallica, like I was gonna say, just like the big four. Yeah, for a hard rock older song like this, I kind of enjoyed it the second time too. The first time was more of a, I don't know, it was okay, but nothing jumped out at me. And then the second time I listened to it, I enjoyed it more for some reason. So I ended up giving it 8.0.
Damn. All right. Okay. Our next band is a band about a giant fucking hairy elephant called Mastodon. They were formed in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's way too far south for it to be anything good. Anything like,
come on.
Once you get south of like Tennessee, everything starts to suck.
You're gonna be in that area not too long from now. You better say.
I know. If only anybody would listen to this that would do something.
That would actually be there.
All right. So anyway, this is the title track from their 2009 album "Crack the Sky," and according to an interview on the DVD, "The Making of Crack the Sky," this album represents the element of aether, which is represented by the souls and spirits of all things, a theme closely related to the context of the album, because the elements of fire, water, and earth have already been represented by the band's first three albums, Remission, Leviathan, and Blood Mountain. I didn't know that when I did this research.
I think they've been drinking a little too much moonshine, huh?
No, they haven't been drinking moonshine. They've been smoking something, that's for sure. The element of air is the only classical element yet to be represented by a Mastodon album, as their follow-up albums, The Hunter, which is a great album, and Once More Around the Sun, which is another great album, do not represent an element, nor are they concept albums. So all that I cut and pasted out of Wikipedia. My only notes that I actually wrote myself were the opening almost sounds like a heavy metal version of a country song. It's got country elements to it, but it's definitely got, it sounds like a heavy metal cover of a country song. But it also sounds like a thunderstorm, which I'm guessing is probably the idea, since the song is called "Crack the Sky." Mastodon's distinctive vocal style is clearly on display because they have three singers, including their drummer as a singer, which I can't even imagine somebody being able to do that. As well, especially since he's got his drumming is amazing. I mean, Mastodon, that's what they're known for, is they're really, really good drumming. In fact, my friend Heavy Metal Rob, who's been on this show before, like Mastodon, that's the whole reason why he likes him, because he's a drummer and he likes their drumming style. Because it's not just like standard, like, well orchestrated, like set beats or whatever. They just like go all over the place, but it still makes sense. Anyway, I give Mastodon "Crack the Sky" at 8.0. It's prog metal. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a fan of it. Good.
Crack the Sky. Why'd they put an E on it?
No idea. No idea. It's probably like, I don't know. They were high when they wrote it, I'm sure.
Definitely. God, this was so hard to write notes for because it's kind of all over the place, but
that's why I lean on the crutch of copying and pasting from Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that next time.
I look at my page and I always like to have a certain amount of words. I'm like, I don't get that many words. I better find a fact about the band and put it on there.
Yeah, I got like 2 sentences that I wrote because it's hard to sum this thing up because it's all over the place, but it's not all over the place like in a schizophrenic way. Mm-hmm. It's all over the place in a I don't know how to describe it. Let me just read what I wrote. Mm-hmm. It's an amalgam of sounds and styles that make it hard to classify. Mm-hmm. Progressive, atmospheric, heavy, and at times almost Beatles-esque.
Yeah, that totally.
At 6 minutes long, the various noiseescapes take you on an unexpected journey that doesn't feel nearly as long as it actually is.
Right on, totally.
I couldn't write anything else about it. That was all I got.
That totally makes sense, though, what you said.
Yeah. Yeah, if you read that, it might not make sense on its own, but when you hear the song, it kind of described it pretty well, I think.
I totally agree.
8.0 also.
All right, symbiotic on that shit too. Goddamn, we're symbiotic all over the place in this podcast. All right, moving on to our final little segment that we like to do, and I could tell you about how Slayer went, but I'm not gonna do it because you didn't fucking give Raining Blood a 10. So fuck everything. And they also had Behemoth and Lamb of God there, which is pretty awesome. But I'm not gonna tell you about it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about my favorite songs off of the first 5 Sepultura albums.
Did you include? Because I didn't actually know about the first one.
Oh,
which ones did you include?
I included all.
Schizophrenia was the first one I knew about.
Yeah, I included Morbid Visions.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really know about.
That's all right. We'll allow fucking you can go up to Roots if you want to.
Okay.
All right. My first one was Troops of Doom off of Morbid Visions. So okay. I'm a fan of Troops of Doom. Dredwin, what did you think for I guess Schizophrenia?
Yeah, Schizophrenia was the first one I was really aware of, and not a huge fan of the whole album itself, but I really like Inquisition Symphony, the instrumental.
Totally with you on that one. Yep.
Tons, of course, and this was their first 2 albums. They were like still learning English, so they're like literally have I guess they're from Brazil, so I guess Spanish, right?
Yeah, no, Portuguese.
Portuguese, okay. So I mean, they're like literally have a English to Portuguese translation book that they're translating word for word as they're writing this album. So yeah, the instrumental on that one for me, Inquisition Symphony.
All right, for me, my next one is off of Schizophrenia. I chose Escape to the Void.
Yeah, I almost did that one.
It's pretty amazing. Fucking song. All right, that was for me. Off of that one. What did you think from? I guess your next one would be Beneath the Remains. What would be your one off of
Beneath the Remains? Inner Self.
Great song. They still do that live.
Yeah, I know. Love that one.
And for me, from Beneath the Remains, I chose the title track, Beneath the Remains. It's just a quintessential thrash song. It's just a great song in there. And anyway, what was your what now for you?
Arise, off of Arise. It would be, I went with Murder on that one.
Oh, for Arise, you went with Murder? I went with Dead Embryonic Cells.
I almost did that one. That's like the 2 that are on repeat for me.
Yeah, Arise is a really, really good album too.
It is. I went back, I go back and listen to that one. I hadn't listened to it in a long time. And then I had to go on a field trip with my son last year. And I just had my my MP3 player, and I'm going through stuff I hadn't listened to in a while. And I got to that album. I was like, I hadn't listened to this for a while. Let me play this album. And I was like, man, that's some good songs on that album. That's
like back when they still had their like death metal-esque like logo and whatnot. Too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're up to you're down to your number 2, which would be Chaos ID for you, right?
Did you do Arise?
No, I did Arise. Dead Embryonic Cells.
Oh yeah, that's right. Off Chaos AD. Oh man, this is such a good album.
It is one. Freaking, that's my favorite Sepultura album.
Mine too. It is mine too. I had a hard time picking this one, but I go with Perfuse Resist.
It's a great one. I almost picked that too.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is in fact Chaos AD. Yeah. I did it in order like I was supposed to, and I picked, shockingly, since I didn't pick Refuse Resist, I picked Territory. Because it's fucking awesome. And I remember so vividly being up watching Headbangers Ball with that video of them they're like standing in the mud. Just such an amazing song, Territory. I guess you have an extra one because you got Roots, I guess.
Yeah, I went up to Roots. So for me, it's Roots, Bloody Roots off the Roots album.
I like that Rata Mahata.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. For a short song, that's a really good song.
Yeah. I got to see Sepultura on that tour, the Roots tour.
Oh yeah.
And they opened up for it was Sepultura, Typo Negative, and Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh my God, it's an amazing setup.
Yeah, that was an awesome concert.
Do you have their album, their like a compilation album, Blood Rooted?
I do not have that one.
Oh, dude, I got to record that one and send that one to you too, because it's got like a bunch of live stuff, and then it's got like some B-sides, like it's got Policia on there and stuff like that. It's really, really good.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But yeah, that was the last tour they did before Max left the band. So I was glad glad I got to see them.
I don't even think they have any Cavalieras in Sopatura anymore.
Nope, not anymore. Cavalier Conspiracy is going to have a new album coming out. I saw that in the news feed also.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up for Hangar 18, the universal answer, number fucking 42. I want to thank everybody for listening. That one person that stuck with us the whole entire way.
Right on.
Yeah. So, everybody stay metal. Horns up, Dreadwind.
Hey, did you see there's a new some new Transformer toys? There's a new Dreadwind figure that they're putting out.
I saw that. Were you fucking plugging your own shit there?
Yeah, I got to.
All right, yeah. Speaking of plugging your own shit, I will be at Not a Comic Con tomorrow at Pack Rat Comics in Westerville, I think it is. Yeah, Westerville. And then I'll also be at Dayton and Ohio Toy Comic Con on Sunday. So, yeah, there you go.
All right, cool.
Everybody horns up, stay metal, Dreadwind.
Stay metal. Catch you next week.
All right, we're out.